Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Raisa Kiwala, the Muslim divorce coach, and I support women to make decisions with clarity, confidence, and conviction rooted in taqwa and tawakkul. So today I am here live in my Facebook group, and I'm also here on Instagram. I'm going to be joining here in just a sec, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone can hear me and see me. Alrighty, here. Let's get started. I'm going to go hop onto Instagram and see. Let's see if I can do this on Instagram also. Okay, having some technical difficulties on Instagram, so just bear with me. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's just start. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Raisa Kiwala, the Muslim divorce coach, and I support women to make decisions with clarity, confidence, and conviction rooted in their faith and values with taqwa and tawakkul. Okay, I'm live here today on Facebook and on Instagram, two different places here, and I'm going to be talking about I'm going to be doing like a live series here regularly called Weekly Wisdom. And for today's topic, it's going to be all about true healing, which comes through insight. Now, what do I mean by that? So, when I'm talking about, true healing, I'm talking about any type of solutions or answers. We're always looking for the solutions for the problems that we're facing. So, my question to you is, have you ever felt like you've done everything to solve a problem? You've made the lists, asked for advice, tried all the things, tried to figure it out, prayed harder, and yet you're still stuck in the same place? I know I've certainly been there. Maybe you've said to yourself, why does this keep happening? Why can't I get clarity about what I need to do? There's just a lot of confusion and doubt and overwhelm, whether it's in your marriage, your work, your parenting, or even your health. So it's really easy to be frustrated, feeling like you're failing because no matter what you do, how hard you try, nothing changes. Things are getting worse and you're farther away from peace. Assalamu alaikum, thank you for joining. So, what if the real solution isn't about doing more, but about seeing differently? What if the clarity that you're searching for isn't outside, but inside? So I have found that growth, transformation, healing, answers for the challenges and struggles that you're facing in your life, they don't happen when we collect more information or we try to figure it out. They happen when we receive an insight. What's insight? Insight is that sudden, quick, not even quick, but it's like something that hits you, like an aha moment, right? It's that something that settles in your heart. It comes directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to you. So it's not something that we can get, or it's not something that we can even force. It comes in moments of stillness, surrender, when our mind settles and our heart is opened and surrendered to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the ways that we describe this is to surrender and sit in the waiting room with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the thing is that insight, it changes everything. It shifts your thinking, your emotional state, your actions, and even your results and the outcomes. It's the difference between trying to like push your way through life, through all of the resistance, versus flowing with that divine guidance. Because when we get caught up in the fog of our thoughts, the shoulds, the guilt, the fears, the stories that we've picked up, we lose sight of the truth. Because when that fog clears, even a little bit, you begin to see what's underneath, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guiding you. Because we ask him for guidance over 17 times a day, and besides him, there is no other one to guide you, right? So he's always guiding us. He never left. But the thing is now, when that fog clears, we can hear him over the noise in our head. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that in the Quran, in verse 46 of Surah Al-Hajj, he tells us that indeed it is not the eyes that are blind, but it's the hearts within the chests that are blind. And this is what it's all about. This verse reminds us that true sight isn't through our physical eyes, it's through the heart. So when the heart is clouded by fear or overthinking, insecurity, we can't see clearly. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifts that veil, we experience peace, clarity, and a direction of how to move forward. And actually, modern research is telling us this, that it's confirming this spiritual truth. And neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. It's the brain's ability to change when new understanding comes in, right? So you have that insight that comes in from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It strikes us in the heart, and it affects how we think. What it does is it makes the old ways of thinking obsolete. It creates new neural networks in a new neural pathway of a pattern of thinking. And it's like that. It's the beauty that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's design. We don't make that happen. It's done for us from Allah directly to us. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's design at work. It's kind of like, have you ever heard that saying that, you cannot find the solutions to your problems through the same thinking that you're thinking about your problems with. So that's what happens when you get an insight. That thinking that you didn't have before or have awareness or consciousness of, it pops into your mind because it's coming from your heart, because it's coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how do we allow that clarity to come to us, right? And let me share a few personal insights from my own life that changed everything for me. So there was a time when I was feeling really agitated. I was dealing with a high conflict divorce. I was dealing with parental alienations. I was living with the grief of my sons leaving to live with their dad on really harsh terms, because that meant that they had to choose either mom or dad, and that meant that they couldn't have a relationship with both. And for me, it was like I kept trying to force or to reconnect to a relationship with them with a lot of resistance. I was pushing for doors to open that simply weren't opening. And it really frustrated me. I was feeling a lot of pain, and internally it was just destroying me. And yes, I let them go physically for the sake of Allah, because I went to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I did ask him for prayed istikhara, and I asked him what the right thing was for me to do. And that's what I was led to, right? To let them go physically for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake, which I did, right? And at the same time, I was trying to hold on to whatever semblance of that bond and that relationship that we had. And then, through the depth of my despair And my grief, of course, I turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in a moment, I received an insight. And the insight was bloom where you're being planted. And when I received that insight, I felt like it was a message straight from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Stop chasing what's not for you right now. And that, like, when I received it, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to stop. I'm chasing something that is not for me right now. And subhanAllah, it shifted everything in my life, all of my energy, my focus, how I showed up. I stopped striving for what I wanted, and I surrendered to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted. And I found comfort in that, because I don't want to be on my own doing whatever I want or whatever I think. I want to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's guidance, because I want Him behind me. I want Him backing me. I want to have that confidence that I'm showing up, in a way that's pleasing to Him. So, that whole journey and that process really, yes, even just letting go of my sons required a deeper level of trust and tawakkul and yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this really allowed me to shift, focus and energy and paths. And really, when I did that, so many opportunities began to open up for me effortlessly. Like, I didn't have to go find them or make them happen. It just came to me because I was on the right path, right? And years later, I ended up having a newfound connection, with my eldest in a very authentic, vulnerable, intimate way that was unlike what we had before. Basically, we ended up, creating a relationship in who we were today in those moments, in the new moment in time. And though it's, far and few in between, it's not about the quantity, but the quality and the connection, the safety the relationship brings. I had so many insights, subhanAllah, and I was thinking about all the ones that I wanted to share with you. And I'll share another one. Do you want to hear another one? Let me know. Do you want to hear another insight that I had that really shifted the way that I started showing up? Let me know in the comments if you want to hear that, and I will share another one with you. All right. Okay. So the other insight that I had that was really, really powerful for me was there was another time where I was in a lot of insecure thinking. I was in a lot of worry. I was in a lot of confusion. And I wanted answers. I needed solutions for my life. I was trying to figure things out. I wanted things to happen now. And then I got another insight. Because of course, right, when we need help and we need support and we're struggling, where do we go? Where do we turn? We turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And so in that surrender of, like, I have no power. I can't figure anything out. It's all on you. I'm giving it back to you. You help me. And the insight that I received was, Raisa, how many times does Allah have to prove Himself to you? And subhanAllah, I was like, yep, I'm doing it again. Yep, I'm doing it again. I kept on getting, let's say, trials and tests and challenges in my life to teach me something for a reason and for a purpose. And it was really about trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at a deeper level, in a deeper way, where I don't show up in a way that I'm fearing other things or people other than Him, right? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that I have the most right for you to fear me. And so, subhanAllah, when I received that insight, I was like, yep, I'm doing it again. There I go. I'm having all these worries and these fears and this insecure future thinking that's paralyzing me, that's not allowing me to move forward and take action. And so, that stopped me in my tracks. And I realized my striving was rooted in doubt and fear and insecurity rather than faith and tawakkul. And I believed in Allah, but I wasn't fully trusting in Him. And that moment changed my relationship with patience. And I understood that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's timing isn't a delay, it's preparation, it's part of the design for what I'm asking for, those big du'as. And that realization allowed me to breathe again, is to trust what is meant for me will arrive exactly when it's supposed to. And it's not my place to force, to convince, or to try to make things happen when I think they need to happen. And that insight really humbled me. It reminded me that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's timing is always perfect, even when my plans aren't. And I started living and showing up that way. Is what does Allah want from me? What is He looking for me to do? Let me go there. Let me see that. Let me hear that. Let me understand that. Let me get clear on that, so I can move forward in my life in that direction, rather than like, what do I want? What am I planning? What am I thinking? What do I want to happen? All these things of like micromanaging, my own life. And those moments of insight really calmed the storms of my thoughts, and really helped me to get rooted in that trust and that tawakkul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's so many more, and I could have a whole course on that. But the point really is I'm sharing these with you is because these insights didn't come from somebody advising me. They came in silence. They came in stillness. They came in surrender, in sitting in the discomfort of my feelings and knowing that I'm okay, even though I'm feeling that turbulence inside. But I'm going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm taking it back to Him, and I'm with humility, with surrender, with like that desperation. And that's what insight is, that divine wisdom that arrives when we stop trying to control the how and simply sit in that discomfort and the feelings in the presence of Allah, with our heart open and surrendered to His guidance. And today, like, I want to really share with you that if you're looking for any type of healing, growth, moving forward, answers to your problems and solution, and clarity, that happens only when you allow yourself to pause, to slow down, to surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the present moment. Not trying to figure it out, make it happen, go to this person, go to that person, ask them. You're not trying to fix everything. And instead you slow down and pause and sit still for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is revealing to you. Right? Because every challenge you face, whether it's confusion or in your marriage or parenting struggles or personal decisions, it carries within an opportunity, right? To pause, to slow down for that deeper connection to Allah. And what is every test and trial and challenge? It's an invitation back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at a deeper level, right? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always guiding us, especially when we ask Him over and over again. We just need to quiet the noise enough to hear Him. Yeah, so you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to strive to find the solutions. You have to know where to look within to your connection to the source, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that connection happens in the heart. So maybe the answer that you've been searching for is already there. You're just not able to hear it without the noise. Maybe you need to wait in that waiting room to let the fog lift, And when that happens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes the veil and everything looks different and peaceful. And that's my message today. And this is exactly what I help people to come to, that understanding of how do you quiet your mind? How do you sit still? How do you slow down to be able to connect to yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and hear how He is guiding you, so you can live a life that's pleasing to Him and fulfilling and peaceful, and fulfill your dreams and your purpose. And if that's something that you're looking to experience, that kind of clarity and inner sight in your own life, in your own healing and your growth, if your relationships or decision makings, I invite you to book a clarity call with me, and we can unpack what are the barriers and the fog that's holding you back from moving forward in the way that is inspiring for you and pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let me see here. My pleasure, ever grateful. My pleasure, Samina. Aw, love, yes, it's so good to see you. Thank you all for your comments. So this is a perfect opportunity to ask some questions of what are you taking away from today? What are the questions that are coming up for you that what gets in the way of pausing, of slowing down, of being able to sit still in the discomfort, of the inner turbulence that's going on, the fear, the anxiety, the confusion, the guilt, the overwhelm, whatever that is. Share with me what's going on and where that's feeling difficult and challenging, because the way we live, it's always go, go, go. There's no moment to stop. I'm going to check in Facebook and see if there is any comments there. While I wait for you. Here we go. Okay, well, there's no comments over there, but it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you all for joining, and I'll be back again next month, inshallah, with another topic. And if you have any topics that you want to hear about, let me know. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Wa barakatuhu.